Drinking buddies, I haven't done anything homemade in a while, so today we're going to be making some homemade Cherrylimeade liqueur, and we're going to taste it and see how it turned out.
I'm your drinking buddy.
All right, drinking buddies, so let's get that Cherrylimeade liqueur going, and we're going to begin by filling our mason jar about a third of the way full with fresh cherries. And a great way to do this, because you don't want any cherry pits in there, is to take something like this. I just have a mixer thing, and you push through, pull out the pit, drop it in. And you repeat that process for, the 25 or so cherries you're putting in here. And then I zested 2 limes. Now when you're zesting limes, you want to try to not get much of that white pith. You want to just get that first layer of skin. We have 2 limes worth of zest. Then we're going to fill it with some cheap vodka. This is basically the cheapest one I could find. Ironically, it says 4X, which I'm pretty sure supposed to make your mind think that it's been distilled 4 times, but it probably hasn't. 4X is probably completely meaningless. We don't want to fill it all the way to the top because we're eventually going to proof it down with some lime juice and some sugar. So about 3/4 of the way full, maybe 5/6 of the way full. And you're going to want to shake this up and store it someplace cold and dark, or cool and dark, for at least 2 weeks. We're going to go 2 weeks and see how it tastes, but chances are pretty good we're probably going to go longer than that. All right, drinking buddies, so I thought it'd be a really good idea to give some shout outs to some other channels. There's a channel called Chappy's Tiki Bar, and he's been doing a 7-day shout out challenge. And unfortunately, I don't have the time to post 7 videos in 7 days, so I thought I would give 5 cocktail channel shout outs right now, and then in a whiskey video, I'll give 5 whiskey shout outs. So for my cocktail shout outs, I'm gonna mention 5 channels that I think do really good content on YouTube for making cocktails. And I think you should check them out if you have time. So when I did this whole little cocktail whiskey adventure, one of the reasons I did it is because I felt like there wasn't a lot of really solid content on YouTube. And when I got into it, I realized, oh my gosh, there totally is. It just generally tends to be the smaller channels. And they're doing some really great things. So first up, we got 60-second cocktails, 60-second cocktails. And his thing is he tries to make his cocktail in 60 seconds. Really fun channel. In the drink, this guy does a lot of pop culture originals type stuff that I strive to do on the regular, and he does that really well. Alchemix Bar, kind of all over the place with really good content. We got Angry Cocktails. He's in Australia and does a lot of really fun cocktails with local spirits in his area, and a lot of milk punches, which are really fun to do. And then last up, the Tribal Bar guy. He does a lot of cocktail tutorials for Tiki drinks and things like that. Really good channel. So if you have time, check out those 5 channels. Now let's make some Cherrylimeade liqueur. All right, drinking buddies, it's been a few weeks. I actually let it go a little longer than I had said. I really wanted these flavors to pick up. For my general process of doing this, you need an empty bottle, you need a funnel, and you need some sort of filtration device. I really like these reusable coffee filters because I can just clean it out and use it again, but you could use a standard coffee filter and it'd be just fine. So let's filter out all of the nonsense that we put in here. They kind of look like olives. My worst nightmare. I don't like olives. I'm a very unpicky person, but I don't like olives. Not a big fan of olives. I don't really like mint very much, and I'm not a big horseradish fan. But pretty much anything else you put in front of me, I'll eat. All right, well, nice and filtered. Let's get rid of this mess. So let's give this a taste before we lower the proof a little bit and make it a liqueur. At this point, it's just infused vodka. So I would call this cherry and lime infused vodka. Oh man, cherry comes through so much stronger than the lime. But then at the finish, you get a lot of really nice lime flavors, especially that lime oil flavor. Kind of coats your tongue a little bit. Yeah, this turned out really good. It's pretty sweet. I hope I don't overdo it with the sweetening process I'm about to do, but I'm already committed to it at this point. So nice and sweet. But yeah, it tastes exactly how you would want it to for a cherry and lime infused vodka. It's sweet and not too bitter from the lime. They balance each other out quite nicely. And let's proof it down a little bit and make it a liqueur. All right, drinking buddies. So I have here some lime simple syrup. I have 2/3 of a cup, 6 ounces. The way I made this is equal parts lime juice and sugar. This is an ingredient I have really ever seen used in cocktails, which is funny because it is actually really good. If you do a lime simple syrup, you're gonna end up with a product that ends up being nice and bitter, but also really sweet at the same time, really reminiscent of a limeade without the water added. And I didn't really want to add water to this. So that's why I went with lime juice and sugar. And also, the cherry really came through on here, so I feel like adding the lime juice is gonna help really make it a cherry limeade. So let's pour it in. I'm probably gonna go with the whole thing and see where we end up. If it ends up getting pretty full, I won't, but I think it'll all go in there. Yeah, whole thing went in. This syrup is pretty thick. Let's give that a little bit of a taste. Oh yeah, it's like key lime pie. It's like so good. I recommend trying that in a cocktail sometime. I don't think I've ever made lime simple syrup before, but I will now. You'll be seeing that in a video in the future. So, let's give it a shake. Shake it up a little bit. Let the flavors incorporate with each other. And now we have this beautiful cherry limeade liqueur. Let's get some ice and find out if it's good. Yeah, let's test it out. Oh yeah, it's got a really thick consistency. When I poured it out there, it reminded me of pouring out something like Chambord that almost pours like syrup. Yeah, oh man, that is really good. So it tastes really fresh. It tastes really real. I know a lot of the times when you get a bottled liqueur, they have to add a lot of stabilizers and things like that to it. And this is just so straightforward. It's 4 ingredients. We have sugar, cherries, lime, and vodka. That's it. And it wound up making a really, really nice product. Oh yeah, I could drink this on the rocks like all night. It really, it's got a nice bitterness to it from the lime zest. It's got a really nice sweetness from the natural sugars from the cherries as well as the sugar we added. It's got a nice sourness coming through from the limes. So you have a balanced cocktail in a glass. You want to balance between sugar, sour, and bitter. And I have achieved that for sure here. Cherry limeade liqueur. It's easy to make, you can make it at home, and I think you should. Drinking buddies, I thought I should explain why I do some projects like this. As you see, I've always been kind of an experimenter, and I've always been a homemade guy. I was a home brewer for years, got a little burnt out on it when I had a couple projects not go exactly how I wanted them to. But after brewing beer for a long time, I did some easier projects, things like infusing vodka, infusing whiskeys, things like that. But I've also done a lot of mead over the years. I make a pretty darn mean mead. But yeah, I'm a home guy. I do a lot of this stuff just so that I can enjoy it with my friends and family. And I generally think if what you got in your glass is something you like, then you've succeeded. And if it's something homemade, it's just that much better because you did it. You put it together, and it's fun to share some homemade projects with you. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you on the next one.